Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tumeke Adebayo. My previous video where I explained to you how I got my first job in Brazil, it got many beautiful comments and engagements. Thank you so much for engaging the video. Also, I mentioned in the video that I'm going to be sharing with you how to get a job as a foreigner in Brazil. First, you need to know that to get to work in Brazil, you need either a work visa or a resident permit. And for resident permit, you need either your temporary resident permit or permanent resident permit. I'm going to be explaining more on this kind of visa in my next video. Also, you need to know as a foreigner that for you to work in Brazil or to sustain yourself in Brazil, you need to be able to speak Portuguese. I mean, this cannot be overemphasized. Know that just a few percentage of people, Brazilians, speak other languages aside Portuguese, and working in Brazil means you are working with people in the locals who don't speak other languages aside Portuguese. So for you to be able to earn yourself a job, or for you to be able to land yourself a job, or for you to be able to sustain yourself in any job in Brazil, you need to be able to speak Portuguese, at least the basic Portuguese, you understand. Also note that getting a job as a foreigner in Brazil is not so easy, but it is possible. You can get yourself a job. Talk about skilled jobs. Skilled jobs are jobs like customer service, working in companies and all those things. But skilled jobs are not so easy to come by. But for those kind of jobs, you need your qualifications, you need the experience and all. Then talking about unskilled jobs like cleaners, like waiters, like factory workers, construction companies and those things, it's also a kind of job that you can get in Brazil, but the only thing is they have a very, very low pay. But you can get this kind of jobs online or using all these agency. Another lucrative job that I know most foreigners do here in Brazil is teaching job. For English speakers, or if you know any other language like Spanish, it's a very lucrative job in Brazil. You can earn yourself job in schools, even though you also need some certification. Or you can also work, online, gather classes, physical or online class. And this teaching job actually has more pay than some unskilled job in Brazil. So that is also a very lucrative job in Brazil. So if you don't understand Portuguese, it might be a bit difficult for you to also teach other languages. When I first got to Brazil, I did this. There's a friend of ours that wanted to relocate to an English-speaking country, so I had to volunteer to teach her and her two girls English. I was teaching them English, but it was kind of difficult for me because I didn't speak Portuguese and I don't speak English. So the teaching class is always very funny, guys. I won't even lie to you. So like I said, for you to do anything in Brazil, you need to speak Portuguese. Even for you to do a teaching job, you need to speak Portuguese. You can also earn yourself government jobs, but just know that with government job, you need your permanent residence visa. You also need to write exam for some of these jobs, or even you will need to have your Portuguese certification for you to earn yourself a government job. Although you know that government job is more reliable, right? And let me also point out that if you have a resident permit, you can start a business in Brazil. For example, you can start a restaurant. Restaurant business is a very, very lucrative job in Brazil because it's, of course, nobody can stay without food. You see restaurants everywhere in Brazil, but these people are making their money. So you can start a restaurant business, you can start fashion business, sell clothes and all those things, or even hold a salon or beauty, pedicure, all this kind of business. Brazil don't joke with anything fashion. So these are lucrative jobs here in Brazil. Then let me also point out that tax is very high in Brazil. So when you work, ensure that you are ready to pay tax. Is very high in Brazil, but that is why most of the amenities like healthcare is free, because they subsidize it with the tax. Then to cap it all up, know that working as a foreigner in Brazil is not so easy for you to get a job, but it is not impossible. Just ensure that you groom yourself, you speak your Portuguese, you learn Portuguese well. You can learn on some apps like Duolingo, you can learn on YouTube, because you need this every day in your life. You communicate to people that don't speak any other language than Portuguese. So you need to try as much as possible to grow yourself in that line. If you watched to this point, that means you enjoyed this video. Ensure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. And if you have any question for me, drop it in the comment section. I will attend to it. So I see you next time. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.